In this episode of Seek Out the Arts, I am sharing a painting that has changed the way I look at the perfect home. I also have a beautiful music recommendation for you, as well as some poetry that will inspire your summer homemaking. So I hope that you'll join me. Hello everyone, Jennifer L. Scott here, and welcome back to the Daily Connoisseur, and welcome to this season's episode of Seek Out the Arts. Seek Out the Arts is a series I've put together so that we as busy adults can still immerse ourselves into art and culture. And today I have a great painting to share with you. It has changed the way that I think about the perfect home. Now, a little note before we begin, I actually filmed this entire episode last week and the first half did not render. So here I am again. We're going to talk about the painting, but I'm just letting you know because halfway through the video, it's going to change to me last week. Totally different outfit and everything. So I just didn't want that to be confusing for you. But I'm okay with it because I am obsessed with this painting and I love talking about it and bringing up all of the emotions that I get when I look at it. In fact, just today I showed it to my boys and we had a long discussion about it. So you can definitely watch this with your kids too. It's not just for adults. Okay, so the painting that we are going to discuss is Sunday Gardening by John Falter. It also has an alternative name, Gardening on a Sunday. And this was painted in 1961 during the golden age of American suburbia. John Falter was known for painting everyday American life for the Saturday Evening Post. So let's spend some time analyzing this great painting. Okay, so the first thing I notice when I look at it is, of course, two neighbors, dramatically different ways that they keep their homes. It is a humorous painting, I think. I'm not getting Romans of the Decadence or any serious vibes from this. It's like very humorous, I can already tell. And that could be because it was for the Saturday Evening Post. And your eye is naturally drawn back and forth between the two yards and you are comparing and contrasting. That's what happened with me. So let me know in the comments, what is the first thing that you noticed about this painting? Okay, let's jump into the themes. So the first theme I get from this is that there are two very different ways of living. So this isn't just neat versus messy, but it goes a lot deeper than that. So let's start with the man on the left. This is the side that I obviously prefer visually. I think this is the side where we would want this guy to be our neighbor. Okay, so when I look at the left, I don't just see neatness, I see stewardship. He is taking care of his property. I see cultivation from the flowers and the bird bath and his neat porch. I see intentionality. None of this is by accident. This man is very precise and has a vision for how he wants his home to look. I see beauty. I mean, this is a beautiful property. I love that it just looks so spick and span and clean and tidy, and it's because of this man's care. Let's move to the right-hand side now, and the first word that comes to mind for me is definitely messy. So I do see a mess, but that's not all I see. I also see deep rest. So this man is resting deeply. It's Sunday afternoon. He is not bothered. He's got the newspaper on his head and he's relaxing with his feet up without worrying. And you know what? I admire that. We're going to get to that in just a minute. I also see evidence of family life. There are toys on the ground. There's like a bicycle and a doll and a ball and a bunch of unknown objects that are strewn on the path, something I can definitely relate to. I also see exhaustion. So yes, he is relaxing, but he seems tired and his property seems tired. He seems too tired to work on his property. Yeah, I just see life in progress, like busy family life, exhausted parent. That's what I see when I look on the right-hand side. Okay, so the second theme I get from this is that the garden reflects the gardener and the yards almost become portraits. So on the left, we have the clipped hedges, the perfect borders, We have his beautifully painted house. We have the gardener in precise posture there. I mean, he is really observing what he's clipping. He is well dressed and well put together. I would expect this man to live in this house. He just looks neat and tidy and like in order, okay? Everything mirrors his personality. And on the right, we see this house reflecting this homeowner or this gardener. We see the scattered toys, so we know that, you know, he's a father probably. There's an overgrown lawn, the shrubs and hedges are overgrown. The house looks to me to be in disrepair, like it needs painting, it needs attention, love, and TLC. I do see weeds growing. The type of chair that's on the porch that he's sitting on doesn't look like a porch chair. It almost looks like an office chair was wheeled outside, okay? So this man's yard reflects the season of life that he's in. It's like a busy family season, and he seems tired. It's like to me, it looks like he works really hard all week, and this is Sunday afternoon, and he's just going to relax and chill. The next obvious theme to me would be one of order and chaos, okay? So the house on the left has a lot of symmetry. It looks in order. Like this man follows the method and order that I write about in Living Well at Home. That seems like his MO. Like if Hercule Poirot lived in one of these houses, it would be this one. So there's a lot of symmetry. It seems calm and peaceful, very clean, and that's order, okay? On the right, we all get chaos. We see visual noise. It doesn't look like there's a lot of choices. It's like things are just allowed to take shape. So this feels chaotic to me, okay? And your eye behaves differently depending on what side you're viewing. And pay attention to how you feel, you know, as you look at both sides. That leads me to the final theme, which is the humanity of both sides. This isn't right versus wrong. I do prefer the beauty on the left-hand side, and I think that most of us would want that man in the pink house to be our neighbor. And we want the order, we want the calm, we want the house proud to be our neighbors, right? But also I feel for the man on the right, because I have been there. A lot of people, if you are parents, working parents, it doesn't even matter, stay-at-home mom, just overwhelmed, sleep deprived, cannot keep up with the mess or the chaos, like then you have been there. And I feel for that man, you know, and I'm happy that he is able to just rest in this season. Like I think he's taken it too far. We'll talk about that in a second, but I am happy that he doesn't feel like he has to keep up with the Joneses to the detriment of his health, because I'm assuming he works hard all week and he's just really tired and he's enjoying his yard, okay? The right side isn't necessarily laziness, it's just life with young children. Like maybe he can't afford to paint his house right now because of the kids or whatever it is. Okay. Now the question that we have to ask ourselves is either side ideal? You know, I think most of us would initially say, yes, the man on the left, he's ideal. But this got me thinking, because if you subscribe to my free newsletter, which you can do so at jenniferlscott.com, I wrote in my August newsletter about how I've been decluttering my home, and while I do it, I have been watching Obsessive Compulsive Cleaners. It's this show from England, and British TV is the best. I mean, it's just so good. So anyway, it's about two people, one who is obsessively compulsively clean and one who has more hoarder tendencies, and the obsessive compulsive cleaner goes to help the hoarder, but usually they end up helping each other. So to me, the man on the left does seem to have more of those OCD characteristics. Like maybe he doesn't know how to rest. It's Sunday. Maybe he should, like his garden looks perfect to me. He should be sitting on the patio, just enjoying the beauty of his garden. But it looks like he's the type of man who can't. Like if he sees a weed or maybe a hedge that needs to be trimmed, he's out there doing it instead of resting. Okay. And then on the extreme side over here on the right, right, his ability to rest is becoming neglectful, I would say. He is resting without stewardship. He is experiencing comfort at the expense of beauty. So he, in my opinion, needs to feel a little bit more pressure to make his property look good for the sake of himself and for his neighbors. So the right side has gone into disrepair and is just like given up and does not look good to me. The man on the left, maybe he just needs to relax a bit, you know? Maybe he just needs to enjoy the fruits of his labor. And we don't want to be like either of these men. We want to walk the middle path. I think that understanding the part of life you're in, if you have little kids and you are overwhelmed with things, that you should rest and you might have to let things go, but also not letting things go so badly that things fall into disrepair and get beyond your control and start affecting people around you, right? And then with the man on the left, he could chill a little bit more. So I feel like the middle path would be a lovingly tended home that welcomes real life. One that people aren't afraid to visit, but they feel comfortable there. That it is neat and tidy, but not to the extreme where they feel like they can't touch anything, like it's a museum, you know? So I have a few questions for you, and I would love to hear your answers in the comments below. What side on this painting brings you peace? Which side feels the most familiar? And be honest, okay? There have been times in my life where I could relate more to the man on the right. In fact, I have a story for you real quick. I love keeping my house nice and decorating it and updating it. And you've seen many videos where I do that. But for a long time, many years, I neglected our porch. It was just the last place that I thought to upgrade. And this was like a year ago we had an important visitor come to our house, and I looked on the Ring camera and this person had arrived, and I was just making sure it was them, and they were looking around the porch, like not in a judgmental way, but they were just looking around the porch. And suddenly I realized how blind I was to how unwelcoming our porch was. Like there was just like an old bench, scattered toys everywhere, some mishmash plants that needed watering. You know, it was not a welcoming space at all. And me seeing that guest looking at our porch woke me up to the fact that I needed to tend to the porch. So sometimes we need that outside influence to come in and shake us up a little bit, okay? Okay, which side do you aspire toward? Have you lived in both seasons? And did you notice any details that I missed? I would love to know in the comment section down below. And now we're going to go back in time, and I'm going to share the musical selection with you. I hope that you are enjoying Seek Out the Arts so far. I would like to take a minute to thank the Chic Society. That is channel memberships here on YouTube. I am so grateful to the Chic Society. Not only do they support my channel, but we have a wonderful, thriving community over there. I do one video every week. Sometimes we do a live stream or even a Zoom call. And we also have a pen pal program where over 1,000 of you are writing to each other all across the world. It's amazing. So if you would like more content from my channel, I know I've gone down to one video a week here on the main channel, which is why this series is only coming out seasonally now. So if you'd like more content, that's a whole extra video a week. I highly recommend you join the Chic Society. I keep it so affordable. It is only $1.99 a month. And I did that intentionally so that people wouldn't even have to think twice about it and you could just easily join. I also have some upper tier members called the Chic Connoisseurs, and they are listed here now. I am so grateful to them. They are the highest supporters of the channel. So if you're interested in joining the Chic Society, you can click the join button or my link down below. Okay, so the musical selection I feel really complements the painting, and it is Chanson de Matin, which means morning song, by Sir Edward Elgar. I have the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra performing it here along with Chanson de Nuit, but I feel like the morning part of this song really reflects the painting, because when I see this, I think of like a glorious, like late Sunday morning, you know? You just feel like bird song, that morning possesses a beauty all its own. So you can listen to this for the lightness and the melody and the gentle optimism that this piece brings, and I truly do enjoy it. And now let's move on to the poetry corner. I have 3 summerish homemaking themed poems for you, and I think that they all go really well with the themes from the painting and the season. So let's start off with Leisure by William H. Davies. I have read this on the channel before, but I think we need to read it again because the guy on the right of the painting is, in his way, experiencing leisure, and also the man doing the gardening is too. But let's listen to this poem again and let's see what you think. Okay, this is Leisure by William H. Davies. What is this life if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare? No time to stand beneath the boughs and stare as long as sheep or cows? No time to see when woods we pass, where squirrels hide their nuts in grass. No time to see in broad daylight streams full of stars like skies at night. No time to turn at beauty's glance and watch her feet, how they can dance. No time to wait till her mouth can enrich that smile her eyes began. A poor life this, if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare. So, even though I've read that poem before, I had to bring it back because I do feel a little bit like this poem is about the guy on the right, and how he feels. So he probably thinks it's like that first line, what if this life, if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare? This man has made the time to sleep. He has made the time for leisure, for just complete rest. And I do feel like the man on the left is not making time for that. It's giving doesn't know how to rest, right? Which I mentioned before. So I do feel like the man on the right is maybe like living the way he wants to, life to the full, with time to rest and relax. In my opinion, a little too much time, okay? Again, I think that there's a middle line here, but maybe the guy on the left could learn a bit from this poem and maybe just sit back and enjoy all of his hard work with, you know, an ice cold drink on the porch and his dog just looking at the beauty. But it seems like he might sit down for a few seconds and then see a weed and go pull it, you know? So the next one is a haiku by Japanese poet Kobayashi Isso. And he wrote wonderfully about tiny moments in domestic and natural life. And I found this haiku for you. Are you ready? It says, "Don't worry, spiders. I keep house casually." Don't you love that? I'm going to read this again. "Don't worry, spiders. I keep house casually." So this is quite funny. It's like the painting. The painting is funny too. And what the poet is saying here is that if there's a spider in his house, it doesn't need to be worried about being shushed out the door or killed or anything, because he doesn't care that much. This man, again, is more like the man on the right, maybe, where he's not that bothered either way. If it's really clean or not, it's casual, you know? He keeps house casually. I really like that. So again, the man on the left does not keep house casually. Not at all. I mean, I am getting formal from the man on the left. Now, again, this is going too far. I think I don't want spiders comfortable in my house. So again, we got to find the middle ground. But I thought that haiku was wonderful. And then the last poem I have for you is by Nikki Giovanni. And it's called Knoxville, Tennessee. And something interesting about Nikki is that she was born in 1943, and she is the author of numerous collections of poetry and was the first recipient of the Rosa Parks Woman of Courage Award, which I think is pretty cool. So she wrote Knoxville, Tennessee, and this, well, let me just read it and then we'll talk about it, okay? "I always like summer best. You can eat fresh corn from Daddy's garden, and okra and greens and cabbage and lots of barbecue and buttermilk and homemade ice cream at the church picnic, and listen to gospel music outside at the church, homecoming, and go to the mountains with your grandmother and go barefooted and be warm all the time, not only when you go to bed and sleep." And I love that poem because it is evocative, it is atmospheric, it is nostalgia, all wrapped into her beautiful words. It's like she's remembering her childhood summers in Knoxville, Tennessee. And these are all the special things she's remembering. And it's not really big moments, it's small things like the garden and the ice cream, the church picnic, the mountains, going barefoot. And that is what we're going for. That is the middle ground. That is like a mixture of relaxed beauty, enjoying your house, like living in it, living in the garden, but also clearly it sounds like they tend their garden. They're making homemade ice cream. They have a vegetable garden. They have plans. They're going to the church picnic. And also this last line here, and be warm all the time, not only when you go to bed and sleep. It sounds like they have comfortable beds, really warm and inviting. So that is a wonderful way to end the episode, because that is that middle ground we're talking about, where people are taking pride in their homes, but not letting it go too far in either direction. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Seek Out the Arts. Thank you so much for joining me here on The Daily Connoisseur, and I will see you in next week's video. If you're new to my channel, I invite you to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.